Ready? Begin. From flying 12 seconds in the air to flying 7 miles in the air to get to summer vacation, humans have come very far in developing planes. The history of planes is a staple of human innovation and is extremely impressive. It's always interesting to see how far we've come as humans. Throughout my life, I've been infatuated with planes and recently have dived into the specifics of plane innovation history. When looking at the history of planes, it is important to look at the people who contributed to planes. The main points I'll be covering today are the contributions of George Cayley, the Wright brothers' invention, and the current state of planes. Um, to begin, I would like to start off by explaining the story of George Cayley. George Cayley was the first to prove that humans can really fly. George Cayley was an English engineer, inventor, and aviator. Um, One of his most notable inventions was the glider. He spent heaps of time making prototypes, and through trial and error, eventually made the perfect glider. It was carefully designed to distribute weight as evenly as possible and to ensure a stable flight. Um, According to Henry Leonhard's online article named Cayley's Flying Machine, when Cayley had his first perfect prototype, he forced his servant to take flight on it. They carried the terrified servant on a short flight across a small valley before crash landing. Luckily, the servant lived, and it was considered a success. Not only did Cayley show everybody that it was possible to fly, but he discovered the four aerodynamic forces of flight: weight, lift, drag, and thrust. With the solid foundation of these four components, um, future innovation would be made possible. Specifically, the Wright brothers were up next and used this information to create the first powered aircraft. The Wright brothers grew up working in a bike shop where they gained a ton of mechanical experience. They set their motivation on creating a powered plane, and by using a similar model of Cayley's, the Wright brothers were able to experiment with a motor. Um, According to the biography titled Wright Brothers by Dan McCullough, after hundreds of setbacks and failures, they had their first successful flight, which lasted 12 glorious seconds. Those 12 seconds would introduce a new mode of transportation to mankind and change the way aerodynamics worked. Without the work of the Wright brothers, nothing of what we see today would be made possible. Um, Today, uh, planes are a part of our everyday lives. Between flying for trips or work, the commercial flight industry is seen today as a necessity. Specifically, commercial aviation drives 5% of U.S. GDP, which is equivalent to $1 trillion. Um, as time passes, we get more and more complex planes. As John Hardiman points out in his article titled "Why the Boeing 77 Was Too Long," one of the most advanced planes that we see today is the Boeing 777. The plane can fly up to 9,000 miles in one trip and can hold 500 people on a flight. Additionally, planes are used in the military. The Air Force has been made possible by the invention of planes. uh, as you can see, there are many efforts and years compiled into aviation innovation. Based on these things, it is undeniable that the history of planes is a staple of human innovation and is extremely impressive. What we see today is made possible because of the past contributions of George Cayley, the Wright brothers' invention, and the current innovation of planes. In short, planes have undergone a huge evolution and will continue to do so. It is important to understand just how great the history of planes is, as it shows us just how brilliant humans are. Thank you so much.